Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Emre Övsaypresented, endodontist, R&D specialist, and creator of Rising Files. I'm proud to be the key opinion leader of Fanta Dental Global. Today is the Rising Day. We are going to shape the future with advanced endodontics with Rising Files. We have a seminar of Rising, and we are going to upgrade Rising details in every stage, giving you the details of the new file system. I'm a clinician. We have a clinic called Advanced Endodontics, and also I'm a lecturer at the faculty. So I work both in clinical and in research part. And to introduce you myself, I'm a lecturer, I'm a faculty member, I'm a researcher, and I'm an R&D specialist, which tries to create new innovative products for the endodontic field with Fanta dental materials. My wife is also an endodontist, and we have a great team for research. We are focusing on research on new innovations, especially for Rising Files, to give you the true information about every detail of our new file system. You enter the clinic, and the patient is waiting for you.
Astro, no.
You have retreatment cases, you have stuck canals.
What you know about rolling down in the deep when your brain goes
You have calcified canals.
Mental freeze when these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut.
You have perforations, you have bleeding from the apical.
Down in the deep when your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze when these people
You need to fix the things to be right, be in the right way, to complete the endodontic therapy.
I'm like, yeah, that's true. I believe in G-O-D, don't believe in T-H-O-T. She keep playing me dumb, I'm a player for fun. Y'all don't really know my mental, let me give you the picture like stencil. Falling out in a drought, no flow, rain wasn't pouring down. See, that pain was all around, see, my mode was kinda lounge. Didn't know which way to turn, flow is cool, but I still feel burned. Energy up, you can feel my surge, I'ma kill everything like this purge.
Some of the complications that you face in your clinical practice.
If I don't get paid for progression, I'ma get it. Everything that I do is electric, I'ma keep it in a motion.
This is the launch of Rising from Dubai. And now we are in the way of our root canal treatments. You know, we have not easy cases. We have a complete system of root canals that we need to clean, shape, and fill the root canal in three-dimensional way. But we need a good file system to shape the root canals, to obtain our glide path, to maintain our proper shaping procedures, and finish our cases easily and efficiently. But, you know, we use microscopes and we work under magnification. And let me introduce you our new microscope, Fanta MCS 3000A. In my daily practice, I shot all my videos with our new microscope, which has a Sony image sensor for the best capturing effectiveness of the videos. And for a microscope, to start with, the binoculars, the swing arm, and the focal lens is very important to make the proper working distance and proper working position with the patient. And let's see. know, the importance of the microscope in our daily practice is very important, and all videos are shot by Fanta MCS 3000A. To talk with the root canal system, we have complicated cases, we have apical deltas, we have lateral openings, and we usually have a difficult and complicated morphology to complete all our treatments. We don't have especially easy cases, especially the practitioners who are practicing endodontics much more than ever have complicated cases, stuck canals, root canals, are always a problem in your clinical practice. But in time, we know the file systems get much more easier to use and more durable than ever and more flexible than the previous generation file systems. Technology is growing every day, including every detail of R&D in the part of the new products. I don't want to go into deeper parts, but just to inform you about the stages, the previous generation nickel titanium files has the stage of austenite, which are more rigid. So they are not bendable, they are not flexible. The root canal is trying to adapt the file. But in today's technology, it's a martensite phase that root canals are adapted by the file system. So when you insert a file system into the root canal, the file adapts into the root canal morphology, performing you a proper shape and proper cleaning procedure of the root canal system. It's the fact that why we pass to new generation files in time. This is the most important part of the endodontic therapy, which is capable of using the new file systems and producing much more power in your clinical practice. Don't consider file systems just for looking directly at the shape of the files. These are two files which look the same, but they have a different morphology according to their production stage in their nickel titanium. So please don't consider the files with naked eye just as they look the same, because they are not the same. The first file from Fanta Dental more than 7 years ago, which I used to have in my clinic, is the 𝗦𝗵𝗽𝗃 gold system. And in those days, I was testing the files to have the proper results for their durability and their shaping ability in the clinical practice. So I started to test 𝗦𝗵𝗽𝗃 and I published an article. And I considered and test 𝗦𝗵𝗽𝗃 with one of the most powerful systems in those days in the market, which is the 𝗏𝗏𝗃 Next. So I put both the files, number 25, into 120 degrees in an artificial root canal to test the durability of the files. And I saw that 𝗦𝗵𝗽𝗃 Gold has a significantly longer cyclic fatigue compared to 𝗏𝗏𝗃 Next instruments. So this means the world is changing. The R&D is changing and the machinability of nickel titanium is changing. So we are on our right way to produce better and better nickel titanium files in the market. We have a FantaBot system, including every Fanta product with our pluggers, with our file systems, with our endomotors, apex locators, and Rising is now inside our FantaBot system, and it's a patented product for global market. Rising is a very special product because we take the nickel titanium, we take the shaping procedure better than ever to a next level. And when you use Rising, the adaptability of the file inside the root canal is very satisfying and very detailed method to obtain a proper root canal shaping procedure. When you want a root canal system, root canal file system to use in your cases, you need a case-based rotary system. And mostly, our colleagues try to combine systems together to obtain a proper way of shaping procedure. But with Rising, everything has changed because it's a hybrid system that includes all your file needs for your cases. Every Rising file is different from one another. And I want to mention here that in every broadcast, in every webinar, in every lecture, I was giving more and more details about Rising files. And now, today, we will understand how it differentiates from the other file systems. For the shaping procedure, we need to shape the coronal 1/3 of the root canal. The fresh start should be with an orifice shaper. Of course, you can directly continue with a shaper file without using the orifice shaper, but we need to obtain the proper orifice for the 3D filling procedure. Then we continue with the middle third and we complete the procedure with the apical shaping. It's the best way to shape the root canals. I know there are other systems that don't use orifice shapers, but for Rising system, you have a very specialized orifice shaper. So you can negotiate into the orifice, or in some cases, you can remove the 𝗙𝗓𝘃𝗃 from the root canal, because mostly we don't deal just with tooth with pulpitus. We are always integrated with different root canal systems, retreatments, and resorptions, and a lot of problematic cases. For the application of the shaping procedure, we need to preserve the pericervical dentin. I always mention this to remind you, 4 millimeters from the coronal part and 6 millimeters from the root canal surface. You need to have a pericervical dentin to preserve the natural anatomy of the tooth. But for clinical situations, 4 millimeter from the coronal and 4 millimeter from the root canal dentin is enough for you to preserve the natural dentin. We don't want to exceed the tapers. We don't want to go to large tapers. We don't want to enlarge root canal system, because cleaning the root canal system is not integrated with taper. We all know that. Most of the colleagues know that, and they pass from 6 tapers to 4 tapers or 3 taper instruments to maintain the proper shaping of the root canal system. And when we talk in the educational programs, or when we talk in the faculty, or when we lecture worldwide, the basic question is that, how can I achieve a minimal invasive shaping procedure? So, ladies and gentlemen, your file needs to be equal to 5 taper or less to achieve the best proper shaping procedure for the root canal system. Because you have to use your file less than 6 taper to be minimally invasive, to adapt mostly inside the root canal system. In the last webinars, I saw the some researchers about that. I'm not going to take it deeply. I'm just going to pass to our new file, Rising. And I think everybody knows what is Rising. We are talking about a continuous rotation system with 360 degrees rotation with different metallurgy.
Shine bright like a diamond.
With special heat treatment nickel titanium.
Fine light in I'm alive, we're like diamonds in the sky. I knew that we'd become one right
Rising
away.
makes the best anatomical shaping and best excessive removal.
At first
It creates you the maximum apical pugback.
of sun rays, I saw the life inside.
And as we always say, we are not offering you endodontic files. We are offering you a system that changes everything in your clinical practice.
We're beautiful like diamonds in the sky. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Shining bright like a diamond. We're beautiful like diamonds in the sky. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Shining bright like a diamond. We're beautiful.
And Rising has some special characteristics. It makes the minimal invasive shaping. It has the extreme cutting efficiency, the specialized cutting angle that has never done before, maximum debris removal, that the special design smoothly removes debris from apical to coronal without any stress inside the root canal. So when I talk about the cutting efficiency, some colleagues try to ask questions that a direct point on the cutting angle of the instrument. Rising has a different cutting angle design that can adapt to your usage inside your clinical practice while you are achieving a root canal treatment, because the cutting angle dynamically shifts. So if you use Rising in an aggressive way, according to your clinical practice, it will be more aggressive. If you are shaping the root canals smoother, so it makes you a smoother shaping. But in the point of that, I don't mean that Rising shapes the root canals aggressively if you use aggressive. It has a fixed taper that forms you a proper using period while you are shaping the root canal. So however you use Rising, it will adapt to your usage for your clinical application, and you can easily adapt Rising system. But the most important part of Rising that makes you cone fit perfectly, because it has a special design at the 0.5 millimeter at the apical part, then you can directly use Rising and place its own 𝗤𝗏𝗃 inside the root canal to perform the proper apical pugback. The mostly asked question is that I shape it number 25 with 4 taper, then I insert a 𝗤𝗏𝗃, which is number 25 with 4 taper, and it doesn't fit. Yes, it doesn't fit. It will never fit if it's not Rising, because the production stage of 𝗤𝗏𝗃 and nickel titanium is totally different in R&D. So we had to equalize the basic principles for a system to combine the 𝗤𝗏𝗃 with the nickel titanium. And we did it with Fanta Dental. So we are focusing on zero tolerance adaptation. So this means you shape with number 25 with 4 taper, and you insert the Rising special 𝗤𝗏𝗃, and you got the smoother and maximum pugback, and your cone fit will fit perfectly. When you shape it Rising, you will understand the smoothness of the root canal system. And there are some cases that we do root canal treatment with Rising, and you cannot imagine how easy and how smooth are the root canals. In cases that for premolars, for single rooted cases, for multiple root cases, for palatal canals of the upper molars, for distal canals of the lower molars, you can use Rising system very easily according to the instructions that we created you a chart. And when you buy Rising, you will have the chart inside the box, so you can see to understand and to use the possibilities of the rising files. And rising files are integrated with each other. So when you follow the steps, you will have a proper shaping, and I'm sure you will not break any file inside the root canal because, you know, I told that before that it has a capacity of 45 to 48 minutes continuous usage in a metal block with circulating the file system inside a 120 degrees root canal, and it's a so long-lasting file. This was a straight canal, and we finished the case easily with rising. For premolars, for narrow canals, sometimes we use R4 before R3. I always mention that R4 is a special file, and it's a passage file. The passage file means that between number 25 and number 30, you sometimes need a file. Imagine you are achieving your root canal, you shave at number 25 and you say, oh, number 30 is not proper because it doesn't go to the apical part. Then you have a special file between number 25 and number 30. This is why R4 is number 28, because it's a passage file, a recapitulation file, and for canals which are curved and which have curvatures, you can easily use R4. And sometimes you don't want to enlarge the apical, but you want to increase the taper. That's why it's a 5 taper instrument. So please don't think that R4 is an ordinary file. It's a very special file and mostly the key file of the rising system. In that cases, you see that there's a calcification inside the root canal. You can easily pass the calcification with R1 file. So it's the glide path file of the system that you can easily manage inside the root canal to maintain the proper opening of the root canal system. Let's see a case. As you see here, we don't usually do complex cases, especially for endodontists. Colleagues will understand what I mean. We have retreatment, we have hard cases from general practitioners. So we can easily penetrate into the coronal part and remove the 𝗙𝗏𝗃 easily. Complicated cases, easy cases, and moderate cases are all for rising. You see how RR negotiates into the root canal? And you can continue with R2. Hypochlorite inside the root canal, which is the best way with 𝗥𝗏𝗏𝗡. And to remind you, all videos are shot by Fanta MCS 3000A. Rising makes 3D shaping inside the root canal. It has a special eccentric movement of the files that you can achieve shaping procedure much more slower than ever. This is our rising RR file. To remind you, our orifice shaper. This is the SEM image that it has a semi-active tip that it can penetrate into the calcified tissue, or sometimes it can remove the gutta-percha from the coronal part. We all know that mostly the problem for retreatment cases is the orifice part. And after you remove the blockage, you remove the gutta-percha from the orifice, your way is open to enter your glide path file and reach the apical part. And after doing this, you can pass to shaper files to complete your procedure. Rising R1 is our glide path file. And as you see R1 and put it in your hand, it's soft. But if you use inside the root canal and it hits a calcified tissue, it gets harder. And when I told you to the colleagues from worldwide, they told me that how can this can happen? It's the special morphology of R1, and it's the special machinability of nickel titanium in the factory. So in these stages, our files are totally different from the other file systems. This is R2, our shaper file. This is R3, number 30, and the key file R4. This is 28.5 paper, which is a totally different file that you have never met before. R4 is capable of passage file and for passing the curvatures and for increasing the taper without enlarging the apical parts. And this is a different way of making the root canal treatment easier. So you have all file systems in the package. Look how the glyphosate file smoothly enters the root canal with a different eccentric movement. This is to show you the eccentric movement of the files. And I always show you the details about the files. So to explain you our charts, I sometimes have messages from different endodontists from worldwide who test Rising, and they have the good news is that they all have positive feedbacks about the file system. Rising is not a file system that is produced ordinary. It's the most complicated file system that I have ever seen. According to the multiple machinability of nickel titanium makes Rising ever better and better. For easy canals, for straight canals, for single rooted tooth without curvature, with the orifice shaper and shaper files with R2 and R4, you can easily complete the procedure very smooth and very easily. For medium canals, for premolars, molars, and little curvatures, you can continue with RR, with C-flex negotiation, then R1 and with R2. Actually, some premolars are integrated in medium canal anatomy, but some have a very, very different and complicated root canal anatomy. So It doesn't matter for you. You can just follow the steps to continue your root canal treatment. Very easy. The idea of creating rising file is that however you do a procedural error while you are achieving a root canal, rising will keep your negativeness and keep your problems and put them in a safe position. So however you shape the root canal, you can shape the root canal in other parts of the world, but you get the same results. That's what rising do. So however you change your style, rising will put everything in order to maintain you a proper root canal procedure. This is what we are trying to do with Fanta Dental. We are making a pack of files that you can use with pack of 𝗥𝗦𝗃𝗃 that you can use in your clinical practice according to following the steps. So you don't have to think about the root canal system. You don't have to think about the morphology. You have the chart, you have the tools to get over all of the cases. For moderate canals, curvatures, molars, premolars, and moderate canal anatomies, you can start with RR. You can continue with R1, R2, and finish with R3 to complete the procedure. Of course, you always need a negotiation file after 𝗙𝗂𝘁𝗵𝗴 to reach the apical part and see is everything on the way or not. For hard cases, for severe curvatures, for calcification, you can continue with 𝗙𝗂𝘁𝗵𝗴 with 10 C-flex, then R1, R2, R3, and R4. And for extreme curvatures, 90 degrees root canals, for double curvatures, for S-shaped canals, you can start with RR, negotiate with 10 C-flex, then R1, R2, R4, and R3. In that position, you can use R4 before R3. And the point here is R4 has its own 𝗥𝗦𝗃𝗃 that you will never find with any of the brands. It's just adapted to rising system. So if you finish with R4, or if you finish with any rising file, you need a rising special 𝗥𝗦𝗃𝗃 to make the best adaptation inside the root canal system. If you have another brand, you cannot use with rising system because rising system is a unique system that the R&D part is so complicated to fit 𝗥𝗦𝗃𝗃 and to fit nickel titanium possibilities together to obtain a proper apical tuckback when you finish your root canal treatment. This is how we do it. We shape it and we create the apical stop. Then we put the 𝗥𝗦𝗃𝗃 to complete our root canal treatment easily and efficiently. That's the point, that we can adapt 𝗥𝗦𝗃𝗃 easily inside the root canal system. There are a lot of systems all over the endodontic market and in every part of the world. But when we produce rising, we are focused on 5X rule, that we have to take rising to the next level. So if something is 5 times, it's probably rising. And our studies are on the way. We are going to publish a new study in a very short time, less than a month, that will show you the possibilities of rising. So debris removal of rising compared to other file systems with any file, any brand, is 5 times more. You can test in lab conditions that you will see that there is a huge difference of debris removal from other file systems compared to rising file. And this is an evidence-based structure that I'm going to give you the details in a period of time. I will show you everything in order so you can have the best knowledge of rising system. It cuts 5 times more. The cutting efficiency is 5 times more compared to other file systems. The elasticity of the file in room temperature is 5 times more compared to any of the brands, any of the file systems. So apical talkback sensitivity is 5 times more compared to other file systems. And if you check the literature and if you look all over the world, it's an honor for me and Fanta Dental Global to perform you a file which makes you apical talkback, because none of the systems in the endodontic market creates you an apical talkback. And if a system serves you an apical talkback, Rising is 5 times more than this system. And the durability of Rising is incredible. It's 5 times more compared to other file systems. Believe me, most of the file systems in the endodontic market breaks in 10 minutes to 11 minutes in artificial root canals. Rising is much more, to 45 to 48. And this is the best way to give you the results of the durability of Rising files. Rising flexibility is 5 times more. So any of the file systems, Rising is 5 times more flexible. And if you want to see the flexibility, because when you take Rising in your hand and try to make it flexible, you can think that it's not flexible in some of the files of Rising. But the flexibility is important inside the root canal. Of course, it's flexible in room temperature, but if you use it inside the root canal, you will understand the flexibility of Rising, why it's 5 times more compared to other systems. Rising is the way of expressing all our knowledge to give you the best file system to use in your clinical practice. And when you use Rising, you will understand how your heart will feel to have a Rising file systems. In social media or in my lectures, I have millions of questions about Rising. And when we give Rising to the participants for hands-on courses, and they feel that we feel safe while using Rising system. That's what they say when you use Rising. They feel safe. They don't want to think any complicated system. They don't want to think any complicated case. They have an instruction to follow. They follow the instruction and have the best result with the Rising file. This is the best way to express you the special properties of Rising. This is another case. You negotiate with our file. You see the special movement of RQ? I will adapt to root canal morphology. using a special 𝗙𝗵𝗽𝗃 device. Then 𝗥𝗜𝗦𝗡𝗚 Pro, the most powerful ultrasonic activator in the market. This is the R4. And you can use AF3 also to activate solutions. It's specialized in aperture with rising R4. And you get the perfect whole fit. This is the procedure which I use to follow. And this is rising. This is another case. This is the RR. Look at the debris removal. Look how it grabs the root canal orifice. This is the R1. This is the R2. Look at the eccentric movement of R2. And every file of rising has a different eccentric movement. So R2 will never shape the root canal equal with R3. R3 is different, R4 is different. So this is why it's a hybrid system for all cases. You can see the movement. And this is the R3. How it that negotiates into the root canal and adapts the morphology of the root canal system. And this is Rising. Thank you for today's live broadcast, and I will be one of the keynote speakers in ESE Paris Symposium, and I will explain all the details about you with the Rising files. We will shape the future and see you in Paris very soon. Rising is a special file system that you have never met before. Thank you for today. I'm Dr. Emre Övsaypresented, endodontist, R&D specialist, creator of Rising Files, and proud to be the key opinion leader of Fanta Dental Global. See you for the next webinar.